Let's get more on this story now with Ikemesit Effiong. He is the head of research at SBM Intelligence, a leading geopolitical research consultancy in Nigeria, and joins us now from Lagos. Niger's new military leaders are very popular, and they've secured a real win with French troops pulling out. What are they planning on doing next?
Thanks for having me on. That's really anybody's guess, really, at this point, right? The regime in Niamey is somewhat constrained, right, by a straining economy, which is still billowing under the effects of regional sanctions that were instituted on it by ECOWAS, primarily chaired by Nigeria. It's still got jihadist and insecurity issues to its west and north primarily, right? And it's now in a situation where it has few friends right across the world. So it's really anybody's guess, right? And what it goes and where it goes from here. But in terms of that in terms of that withdrawal, right, from France, that's certainly a symbolic victory with the junta can and will use to both sides domestic legitimacy, at least for the time being.
You talked about local friends there. The junta has already forged alliances with neighbouring Mali and Burkina Faso, which have already both experienced coups recently. What does this say about the future of democracy in the region?
Well, democracy in the region is having a tough time, to put it nicely. Even in the parts of ECOWAS, right, where democracies are still a clear and present reality. There are ongoing conversations right now about whether those coups in those countries that you've identified, right, in addition to the political and economic challenges, right, which West African countries are currently faced with, means that democracy hasn't done a good enough job of delivering the kind of economic development and economic empowerment which pro-democracy activists and pro-democracy sympathizers have said for years and years that democracy is very good at. For the time being, a lot of analysts and watchers, as well as politicians within the region, have sought to make the argument that these countries that are dealing with coups were first and foremost nascent democracies. They were, very security impacted. They are some of the poorest countries, not just in the region or on the continent, but in the world. And so political development in those countries should be seen within that context and shouldn't be used as a wider test case for whether democracy is doing well in West and Central Africa. But really, it's anybody's guess. There are important elections in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire coming up within the next 18 to 24 months. And it will be interesting to see if those countries, which have a much longer democratic path, right, are able to navigate interesting economic and geopolitical challenges with their democracy still remaining intact at the end of it.
Definitely watch this space. Ikemesit Effiong, thank you so much for joining us.